Hi, thanks for watching my views on news. It's good to be with you. Two news stories. The main one is from the Amhara region where drone strikes have been conducted while the military chief Berhanu Jula denies use of drones in the Amhara region. From the ground, reports are coming in that two drone strikes have been conducted within the last 24 hours. Details for you in this video. What was the target? Where did the strikes happen? Secondly, Israel viewers, where it seems that Israeli government has begun action crackdown on Eritreans. I have received a video from Israel. Video is from today. Hard times ahead for Eritreans living in Tel Aviv. This crackdown began after clashes happened between Eritrean groups in Tel Aviv on Saturday. I have this clip for you confirming that the crackdown has begun. Firstly, viewers, Amhara region of Ethiopia, where a military operation has been underway against Fano factions for weeks. Military has deployed heavy weapons, large-scale deployment of manpower to military denies use of drones in Amhara region. I think 2 to 3 days ago, Berhanu Jula, Ethiopian military chief, spoke. And he challenged Fano fighters, Fano supporters, that bring any evidence if you have about the use of drones in the Amhara region. And he mocked Fano fighters that these groups claim that 3 helicopters of military have been captured by them, that tanks have been captured by them. Where are the tanks, helicopters? Obviously, Fano fighters did not capture any tanks. Just a few social media activists shared these claims, but no one from Fano, no commander from Fano claimed that Fano had captured helicopters. But Fano did claim capture of heavy weapons. A few days ago, a Fano commander was interviewed. If you remember, he said that Fano was in possession of all types of heavy weapons, including tanks, etc. So where are the tanks? None shown by Fano fighters. Jula said that bring any evidence if Fano fighters have about the use of drones. How to bring the evidence? Drones fly at very high altitude. Secondly, drone strikes can only be confirmed from the place of the strike, because the ammunition which is used by drones, obviously it's debris, remnants of the ammunition are found on the sides of these drone strikes. It means that where drone strikes are happening, Fano fighters, local, should collect the remnants of the ammunition, and that remnants should be analyzed by experts. That is the only way to confirm that drone strikes are being conducted. Though drones can be spotted in the air, does it mean that they are conducting airstrikes? No. Sometimes drones are used for reconnaissance purposes. So it's difficult to confirm that drone strikes are happening, but it can happen. But it can be confirmed, because that is how drone strikes in Tigray were confirmed. People of Tigray fighters, they shared pictures, videos of the remnants of ammunition used in those drone strikes. That is how we came to know that Turkish TB2 drones were being used for conducting airstrikes there. And when we confirmed drone strikes against Ola in Oromia, again we saw remnants of munitions used there. So far we have not seen any remnants of munitions. Does it mean that no drone strikes are being conducted? Well, Fano fighters maintain, Fano factions maintain that drone strikes are being conducted, but no evidence from the ground shared so far by the Fano fighters. Now, it is being reported by some Fano fighters, by some news outlets supported by Fano factions, and we talked to a few people who are close to these things, they have connections to, and they are claiming that 2 drone strikes have been conducted in the Amhara region in the last 24 hours. The 2 strikes were conducted between East Gojam and West Gojam. We know that fighting has been ongoing for the control of Digger Demote. Yesterday we heard, on day before yesterday we heard that military had launched an operation to control Digger Demote. Fighting in Digger Demote, in Mertolemariam, in Debre Work, East Gojam, and between East and West Gojam, fighting in these areas ongoing for around 48 hours ago, off and on fighting. Fano fighters claim they have taken full control of Digger Demote. We're waiting for confirmation, but only confirmation is that there was heavy fighting in Digger Demote yesterday, day before yesterday. 2 drone strikes happened close to Digger Demote between East and West Gojam. One was conducted in Vujin Voha, and the other one in Arafa Midhaniyalam. Both these villages are between the 2 roads, Debre Morkos to Finote Silam Road and Debre Work to Mota Road. One passes through East Gojam, other through West Gojam. These 2 places are right between these 2 roads where these drone strikes have been conducted. Pro-Fano elements say that civilians have been killed. They say around 8 civilians have been killed in these drone strikes. We don't know if the killed are civilians or Fano fighters, but what would Ethiopian Air Force achieve from killing a few civilians? Through these drone strikes, civilians are already not happy with this military operation in most areas. So target obviously is Fano. Targets of drone strikes are Fano fighters, like targets of drone strikes in Tigray were TDF members. Targets of drone strikes in Oromia are all Ola members. But whenever these drone strikes are conducted, these groups, they always claim that civilians are being massacred, that civilians are being terrorized through the drone strikes. Drone strikes are being conducted against Fano fighters. But let's wait for some evidence from the ground. If people are listening to me, do share pictures with me, videos with me from the ground where drone strikes have been conducted. Pictures of remnants of the munition used in these drone strikes. That is how we can analyze which types of drones are being used. But so far, no evidence from the ground about these drone strikes which are being conducted, claimed by Fano that these are being conducted in the Amhara region. Secondly, viewers, it seems that Israeli government has begun crackdown on Eritreans living there. 2 days ago, there was a deadly clash between Eritrean pro-democracy and pro-Eritrean government groups in Tel Aviv, Israel. Dozens were injured. More than 100 were injured, including police officials. Some of these Eritreans were armed. Opposition groups say, Brigade Nihamido members say that pro-Eritrean government elements were armed and they fired at opposition members, but confirmation is awaited. Israeli police is investigating the matter. A meeting was held yesterday. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, announced to deport Eritreans. He said around 1,000 Eritreans would be deported and others would be deported to and he refused to give a resident status to any of these migrants who have been living in Israel for some time. Israeli government has been trying to expel them. Now government has got an opportunity, and it is now going to expel these Eritreans. A crackdown has begun. Businesses, small businesses of Eritreans are being closed. Military this morning started a crackdown. I have a clip for you showing Israeli police officials, military officials closing small businesses of Eritrean community in Israel. It means that hard times ahead for Eritrean community. The Eritrean refugees are going to be deported from Israel. Let's hope they are not deported to Eritrea, because they fled Eritrea. And if they are deported to Eritrea and they are pro-democracy activists and they are deported to Eritrea, what will happen to them there? You can imagine. Let's see. So far, business is being closed. We could see large-scale arrests, and the next step would be deportation. Only relief could come from the courts, Israeli courts. I think Eritrean groups in Israel will have to get support of Israeli human rights groups, and they can jointly move to courts. That is the way forward. Otherwise, Benjamin Netanyahu's government isn't going to tolerate Eritrean community in Israel. Eritrea, Israel relations not very friendly since last year. Some cracks, some cracks were seen, and now opposition brigade Niham, the member under crackdown as well, because they are the ones who violated their terms and conditions for Saturday's protest. They violated terms and conditions. They advanced towards pro Eritrean government program that led to clashes. Both sides were armed with different things like stones, etc. Some were armed with firearms too. Let's see how investigation is conducted, but I think large number of Eritreans is going to be deported from Israel. Watch the video showing Israeli police officials closing Eritrean communities' businesses in Israel, Tel Aviv. Thank you for watching.
אהלן לכם כולם, שלום להתראות. לא, זה סניף. זה סניף, עובד בו.
Tenía